Hey everyone, I'm Dylan Stewart. I'm the MacWhisperer, and in today's video, I'm going to answer all your questions about how to easily send photos from your phone. You know, sending photos from the phone can be simple or can be complicated. There's all these different options. So in today's video, we're going to walk through the easiest and best ways to do it. Let's go ahead and jump in. You'll see my phone right here. I'm going to go ahead and open my camera roll. And right here, you're going to see a bunch of pictures of a party that I was at recently, and a bunch of family members, a bunch of friends, a bunch of awesome pictures. You can see a couple of really cool ones. I really like this one here. I think that one's a lot of fun. There's my stepbrother and my stepmom, and awesome pictures of all of these amazing people. But how do I send these pictures to them? The first thing we need to understand is how to share photos in general. So let's take a look at the phone. I'm going to go ahead and click on one of these pictures directly here. And in the bottom left corner, you're going to see this little icon of a box with an arrow pointing up. That's our share icon. Whenever you see that in any app, be aware that that's going to be your easiest way to send out or share things. I'm going to go ahead and click it. It brings up this share panel. At the top, you can see that I can click additional pictures here and here in order to add more than just the one picture I clicked on. Down at the bottom, it gives me a section of people that I text message to frequently or people that are nearby. You'll see the little symbol for AirDrop, and you'll see some of the most recent people I've texted right there. Now, going a little further down, we see other apps. We see this thing called AirDrop. We'll talk about that in a moment. We see messages, we see mail, we see Facebook, etc. And then we also see this whole section down below of this menu, this share menu, that we can actually edit and change things around on here if we don't like the options they give us. At the bottom it says edit actions, and you can change all these actions. But that's not what we're going to focus on today. What we're going to focus on today is the simple methods of sending. So I'm going to assume for the moment that the person that we're sending these to is not in that top bar. Our options then include hitting AirDrop, which again we'll come back to in a minute, messages, or mail. The plus to messages, if the person is using an iPhone and you click messages, you can send them in high quality and you can send many of them all at once. If the person's on an Android phone, and you can tell because when you send them, either the bubble is blue, signifying that they're on iMessage, or the bubble is green, signifying that they're using a non-Apple device. If you send photos to a non-Apple user, you're going to have those photos compressed and the quality is going to go down directly. But if you're going Apple to Apple, this is my favorite way to send photos because it's so easy to do. Just come in here, type the person's name, they show up, click send, done. Easy. You can even send to a whole group of people that way. You can click your share button, you can go grab your other pictures, you can go into messages, and you can type in a group name or multiple people with commas after each of them. It's a great way to send photos, and it happens really quickly, which I love. But sometimes you're not dealing with people that are on Apple devices, or sometimes you've got a lot of pictures to send, which is where email comes in. You know, email gets a bad rap these days, mostly by me because I'm not a huge email fan, but there are times where email is the right solution. Like, you know that people at that party were on Androids, were on iPhones, they may not be tech savvy. You want to make sure they get all those pictures, so you can easily come into mail, and it will put those pictures into the email program for you, where you can go ahead and send them all out just like that. When you go ahead and title it, and click the send button, you'll be given an option as to how large the quality of the photos should be. Small will be very tiny, not very good resolution, but you'll be able to send more pictures, or medium, or large, or actual size. Actual size sends the full resolution. Now, take a look at these numbers you see here. It's important to understand that an email should not be larger than 10 megabytes of an attachment. So I could send these 3 pictures in actual size, but if I was sending 20 or 30 or 50 pictures, I'm probably going to need to send them in small or medium. So just be aware of that. I'm going to go ahead and hit cancel here. We don't need to actually send these because we're going to talk about one more way that you can easily share from the phone, and that's what's called AirDrop. So AirDrop only works Apple to Apple, but it's actually better than text messaging people if they're in your general area. In other words, you're at this party and these people are all there. They can then take their phones and unlock their phones. Down here where it says AirDrop, you see that there are 2 AirDrop potentials. If I click on that, it's going to see the people that are nearby, and it can be multiple people. If you're at a party, you can AirDrop to 4 or 5 or 6 people all at the same time by just clicking right here on their names, and it will immediately send those pictures directly to their phone. So that's another way that we can easily share using AirDrop. AirDrop's great because you can send from phones or computers to each other, but they've got to be Apple products. Now, I love AirDrop. I think it's a really valuable tool. I don't think it's the best tool with sharing photos. We'll talk about my favorite tool when we get into sharing from shared albums. But for this case, when you're just sending a handful of pictures to a handful of people, AirDrop is pretty easy to do if they've got iPhones. If not, as I said, you can go ahead and send them via text message or via email. But let's look at one other thing before we send this. One of the problems people have is wanting to send a bunch of pictures at the same time. And from this view, even though I can click the share button and I can come over here and I can click 1, 2, 3, I'm not really going to be able to send a bunch of pictures. There's a better way to do that. When you're on this view here, click the select button in the upper right corner like this. Once you've done that, you can run your finger right along any of these pictures or click them one at a time like this, and in that way you can gather a much larger group of pictures so that when you click the share button in the lower left corner here, instead of 3 or 4 pictures, we're now sharing 13, and I can come into the AirDrop real quickly here, make sure the other phone is up and ready for me. There it is right there. I can click on it. I accept it on her phone. Takes a couple of moments, and she's got all 13 of those pictures. It's a really easy way to do it. When you're coming from the phone, your purpose is to get the pictures out of your hands and into the other people's hands as quickly as possible. So whether you share it individually or even share the entire day at one time as a memory like this, we can send very quickly from the phone and hand it off to our friends either by text, by email, or by AirDrop. Watch my next video where I talk about the best tips on how to share from a computer, which includes some things like this and some other tools that are kind of computer specific like Dropbox. I'm Dylan Stewart. They call me the MacWhisperer. I come here every week to give you amazing tips and tricks on how to get the most out of your Apple products. Take a moment, go ahead and subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you for the next video. Thanks so much.